Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back, of course, to the Time Bomb channel. Hope all is good in your part of the world. Watch review of the Victorinox Field Force Sport Chronograph. Reference 241926.1, aka the GADA, the Go Anywhere, Do Anything watch that you've been looking for. I think you're going to be impressed by this one, guys. This one, just before we get into it, this one has been lent into the channel again by the lovely people over at First Class Watches. Please do mention the Time Bomb channel at First Class as this one is currently in the sales, and I'm pretty sure that they'll do their best to help you with price matching also. And yes, Stavros, my trusty Cretan brother in arms, I'm so sorry, brother. This one is another chronograph. I know you're not a massive fan, but this is indeed, I think, one of the sexiest looking chronographs that I've seen in a while, and I don't think these models get enough attention at all. Let me just pause there so we can zoom in a little. There we go. So now we can see the watch up close and personal. And my take on this, and one of the reasons why I asked First Class to send this one across for review, was, to me, it's just the perfect combination of simplicity, clarity, good looks, robustness, and legibility. Doesn't matter what angle you look at this from, or what distance, wrist distance from your face it's super clear. I guess one caveat is that they retail around £625 from Victorinox directly. As I say, First Class have got them in the sale at the moment, so head over there. And I don't think in general the Victorinox brand are that overly budget friendly watches, so perhaps they don't figure on everyone's shopping list as a consequence, but I think this one might be close to fulfilling the the one watch collection that many people prefer. I did review an older version. I think it was the 211494. I'll pop a link up there. That was a few years back, and that was perhaps a slightly different version of the Field Force. Just while I'm getting the buckle undone here, can't do these things, the other side of the camera. Anyway, yeah. I didn't see this at first, and I told the guys that it wasn't in the box. But these do come with a limited edition penknife. I will get it out, but I'm not going to open it. Yeah, all right, I will do. I didn't want to get it sticky just in case somebody buys one of these. Sort of a limited edition penknife that comes with these. As I say, I didn't see it because I didn't lift up the comfy cushions, and so felt it wasn't there. But yeah, it's definitely in the box, so don't forget it. If you buy one of these, you have got that inside your box waiting for you. I think I've lost so many Swiss Army knives over the years. It's kind of a really nice touch to get a new one. But let's back to the watch. The first thing another thing to note, sorry, that I found was that, sort of looking at the all of the web images of this watch, the case body appears black in all of those pictures. There's an example up on screen so you can see what I'm talking about. Then come back to the watch in hand. I mean, just contrast that case body with the strap. It's clearly not. It's actually a really sort of nice matte uniform grey. So I don't mind the color of that at all. I think it looks really quite nice. But what I don't understand is these were released, I think, back in 2020, and Victorinox themselves and nobody else seems to have bothered to correct the images. Post up some actual images of the real case body, and I don't get that why. A lot of reviews on the websites, even Victorinox's own website, people make note of this, saying they love the watch, but why do the images show it as being black when it clearly isn't? Anyone got any ideas? Help me out with that little curiosity. Also, I've looked on their website and I can't find anywhere if that coating on the case body is either IP or it's PVD or some other material that they've colored it with. Again, if you own one of these and you know what it is, please do drop a comment down below, because yeah, it would just be interesting to know what that case body finishing is. Key speckage, it's 42 mils across, so again, very manageable. It is then just 12 mils deep. You do get the odd choice of 21 mils on lugs. It comes with 100 meters worth of watery goodness and sapphire up top, which has got a proper amount of AR coating on it. I think I reviewed a Saab Bomber the other week, and that one really didn't have the appropriate levels of AR coating. This one does, and they work very well. The weight also perhaps is not as expected. It actually, excuse me, I've lost the focus. It actually has, it weighs in at 95 grams, which I think is pretty close to the, that perfect GADA watch. That's obviously on this rubber, some of them, which again, I think is the ideal strap for it. I mean, the head is heavy, but it's not massively heavy, and it doesn't make the watch wobble. Let me just throw it around on wrist for you. Rocking the Pingo today by contrast. Coming up now. All right. So for reference, just get that out of the way and give you a down the pipe shot. So my wrist is 7 1/4. I mean, it's almost the perfect size, dimensions. And as I say, fit-wise on wrist, it's not heavy, it doesn't wobble, it just feels absolutely brilliant. As I say, really very, very, very impressed with this one indeed. Okay, so buzzing away inside, we've got a 5030D Ronda quartz. And again, my understanding is that there are two types of that movement. There's firstly the gold-plated Swiss-made version, and then the nickel Swiss parts. And thankfully, this is the gold-plated Swiss-made version of that Ronda quartz, so you are getting some extra bang for your buck. And I think that's probably going to provide you with around 5 years of battery life, depending, of course, on how much you're, timing your cooking and boiling your eggs and that kind of thing. There's a lots of these field chronos in other different colorways. Oranges, reds, and there's even a GMT variant. But particularly, I like this one because I think that it is somber and sober. And I say, just so clear. Just the colors and the colors, he says, that matte gray, black everywhere, and the contrast it with the white, I think is absolutely spot on. There are some steel bracelet versions to these, but for me, this watch, it's a watch that needs to be worn on rubber, potentially old leather. Or maybe even a sailcloth might go well with it. But as I say, like this is absolutely brilliant. To note though, I've not worn this in the tropics because it's only out on loan, so I don't know how it manages with lots of sweat and water and heat and things like that. So again, let me know as well, and other people know your experience of that. The crown, unfortunately, is not a screw down, and I do like my screw downs, but again, it's my personal issues that help with my anxiety about dampness getting inside. Yes, I know gaskets work very well, but again, it's just personal preference. The the connection with the crown there is good, solid. No wishy-washy feelings or anything like that. It's pretty solid, and I believe we've gone past it. One more. Where's it gone? Yoo-hoo! Can't find the quick set date. There it is. Yeah, so the quick set date just above the 6. Sometimes gets a little bit lost there, depending on what number it is. If it is the 6th of the month, you might be mistaken for thinking that that's the 6 on that bottom subdial, so do bear that in mind. But it's color matched as well, which is kind of nice. It hides it nicely, but maybe it hides it a little bit too successfully in some instances. The loomage looks like this. Many of you will know that the brand doesn't excel at loom, so for the loom addict, there may be, after a couple of hours, that feeling of harumph. It's an area that the brand needs to improve on all of their watches, not just this one. The chrono action looks like this. Nice positive crunch. And so let me just zoom in a fraction more for you there, so we can get a little view of that. It's not brilliant, but what I haven't done is reset this. There is a function, obviously, on these that you can, position your counter back up at the 12, and get it a little bit more aligned. I haven't done that on this one, as I say, because this is a lone watch. I kind of feel I'm not overly comfortable about messing around with these watches because they're not mine. But there is a function where, I think it's one position out and then you press it around and etc, etc. So again, just check that. The sub-dials was another aspect that I wanted to highlight. Sorry, there's a little bit of dust on here. Yeah, the way that they sit under that main dial there, that one's cut in. The others are sort of, slight reverse dimples. I think they're really, really, really nice. Zoom in again so you can see you've got some little concentric circles on the top two, excuse me, and then the bottom one down here. Yeah, there's your date window. Really, really nice matte finishing on that dial. It's not dust on the dial, it's dust on the crystal here, sorry. Yeah, nice. Very, very, very nice indeed. All right. Next, what did I want to talk about? Yeah, I haven't mentioned the case back. I mean, yeah, it's just a standard screw in there, nice and smooth, no designs or anything like that. So a little bit, yeah, underwhelming perhaps, but again, it's a tooly watch, and so yeah, it's not supposed to be pretty. But I'm conscious of the fact that I often flag that up as saying, yeah, I like to see something there. Maybe an observation is that perhaps if your chrono hand was tipped red or orange or something like that, it might improve the contrast legibility on here. But even so, I think with the all white, the way that the white hands sit over that black dial, I think it works fine. But as I say, maybe just a little splash of color might have helped, but again, just me. Yeah, it's a little bit outdoorsy, it's a bit sporty, it's a bit tooly. It might not necessarily match your suit and ties, and I do wonder if this range is going to be continued by Victorinox in the future, because their new models seem to be heading in a slightly different direction, with different materials and higher end prices again on all of their things, all of their releases. So to me, though, this one it's robust, it's darn good looking, and I think perhaps as well it's a range that they offer that doesn't get as much attention as the Inoxes and things like that, and I think it's a little bit of an unsung hero as a consequence. As always, those are just my thoughts. Over to you guys. What do you reckon? Drop your comments down below. Massive thanks again to you for your time and for your view, and we'll catch you all in the next video.